And welcome back, softball fans, to another episode of the Pelican Softball Report. I am Doug Gann and excited to bring you the 2026 softball previews. This one takes us out to Manny, who is a perennial power when it comes to softball. And we're here with head coach Keaton Booker. And, Coach, welcome.
It's good to have you.
Look, Coach, there's something about that big red M. We've seen a lot of championships in football, of course, and we've seen them in softball in the 8 years that you've been there. What is it about being Manny made?
It means a lot. I think as a community, we finally gotten to the same, I don't know, slogan is our goal. I should say our goal is in every sport for everybody to respect the M, and
Right.
when they see that M, that we want them to think about it. We want it to be a little intimidating. And I think as a community and as programs, I think collectively we've done a pretty good job.
You spoke about community and how big that is. We were down there for a football game this fall, and it's just electric down there. I don't care if you guys are 10-0 or 0-10. It's the same electricity out there.
We've experienced both now, so which everybody needs to be humbled every once in a while, but without a community, you don't really have a whole lot, especially in small towns like us. We appreciate all our businesses and all our fans, and they throw it down like it's the Super Bowl every Friday night. So,
And we've seen the crowds like that though in softball when you guys get to Fresh, and you've been a mainstay down there. It seems like there were a couple of years that things didn't go quite like you wanted them to, but seems like you're battling for it each and every year. Is that the mindset in the off season? Not just that we're going to have a good team, but we're going to get out there and compete for a state title.
that's the goal, and I think that's the goal that our communities put on us as well, and we like that. Our goal is really not. I don't say win a state championship. Like my goal is to get to Sulphur, because once you get to Sulphur, anything can happen. So that's the mindset we have. Get to Sulphur, and anything can happen down there. So that's the mindset the kids come into the program with, and if we don't, then we have to really self-evaluate, because that's definitely the expectations.
And you're right. Frash Park is such a special place to get down to. Sulphur is electric when you've got so many fields going on and so many teams, and you're hearing cheering at each and every field at different times. That's got to motivate the ladies when they're on the field, also.
It definitely does. It definitely does. You kind of feel out of place when you hear all the cheering around you and nobody's cheering on your field. So to me, that's why I'm like, hey, make the fans cheer for something this half inning.
There you go, and they've done that lately. Let's go all the way back to your first state title. I think it was in 2021 that you first did it. And there's a look at the bracket on there, and I know this is a 2026 preview, but I want to set the tone for it. You guys, and we talked about them being tested and ready for Sulphur. This is an extent of it. You were in one of the toughest brackets out there. There's a lot of big time teams there.
There was. We made it to Sulphur in 19, which I was assistant at the time, and these girls, that the big group I had were juniors in 21, so they knew what it was like to make it, and then COVID happened the next year, so they were hungry, and it was a loaded bracket, but it was fun. Man, that's a fun thing to do.
We heard one of your interviews after that, and you had talked about being the 1 seed and just hadn't got it accomplished on there. In 21, you put it all together. Did you expect in 2022, which is on the screen now, to go back and do it again, or did you, because that junior class was coming back?
In my mind, I thought one thing, and to everybody else, I said another. I was like, we didn't lose a whole lot from 21 to 22. We had 3 total seniors, but everybody would be like, "Y'all gonna win it again?" I'm like, "Man, we're really good, but it's hard to do it twice." And sometimes I'd say, "I don't think we're gonna win it. We're too good right now. Like it's just not gonna happen." But it's
That's
hard.
yeah, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
You really got to motivate kids after a lot of success like that to come back and say, hey, the target's 100 times bigger than it was last year. So even though you get better by 1%, that's a lot when you're already on top. So it was fun, and they bought in, and they said, we don't want to lose, and we didn't.
Look, I don't think there's a coach in the world that's going to start the season off and say, yes, we're going to win the state title this year, because that's the number one way to get you. And people start reading the clippings and the headlines and start believing it, and that's a sure way to get beat.
That's a fact. That is a fact. So I try not to. A lot of people call me a sandbag, but I'm coaching 20 girls, so you know how that is.
Well, and what's lost in all of that is, Coach, these are teenage kids, they're teenage girls, and there's just a lot that goes on in life.
There are a lot of people ask me, is there a difference in coaching baseball and softball? And I'm like, fundamentals, not really. I said, but coaching boys and coaching girls, a big difference.
Yeah,
but it's fun.
Look, it's such an exciting sport, and I've shared this in a couple of the interviews that we've done. I grew up playing baseball. I mean, every red-blooded American male is out there, and they're playing baseball, and that's how it is. And softball was something that was just on the sideline for us. And over the summer, I had my first 2 granddaughters, and so I've already bought equipment and softballs, and we're loaded up and ready for it. Life has a way of dealing with you.
That's right. That's right. I started coaching softball. This is my, 6th year of being the head coach. And now I have 2 little boys. So there's going to be a crossroad at some point.
Look, that's it's a thrilling time. So, all right, let's jump into this season and take a look at it. You lost a couple of pretty good ones last year. Tell us about the 2 that are gone.
I lost my leadoff and my shortstop in Leah Bork. She was a mainstay. She was a freshman the second year we won state. So that senior group we had last year was my last one to have a ring. So and then I lost Bailey Samples, which was, I haven't done the math, but it's probably 95% of my pitching innings last year. So there's a hole you got to fill, but I'm confident that we can make it happen.
What do you look at this season? Some of the returners. I know that we had spoke a little. You had some that made the all area team on there. Of course, Caroline Cedars is one of those, and then of course Riley Gunter. Tell us a little bit about those that you have coming back.
Caroline Cedars was a freshman last year. But her role was a senior role. She was very vocal. She works hard. She's my leader. It's always good to have those. And then Riley Gunner was a sophomore last year, so there will be a junior. I got a big junior class. She battled, and her freshman year we threw her into the fire. She had never caught before, so she started catching for us, and we made a trip to Sulphur. And so she's one of mine that whatever I ask her to do, she's going to do it. So she'll play a little shortstop this year, and she'll hopefully give us some good innings on the mound.
What do you do there in the circle, Coach, this year? What's going to be your mainstay?
We actually had a girl move in from Zawali. Her name is Laura K. Carter. I didn't put her as a returner because she's not really a returner, but I hope she can eat up most of my innings. But like I said, Riley Gunner will be a solid 2. And then I have a sophomore in Caroline Peace who gave me a few innings last year when I needed them. And then we hope to develop one of my freshmen in Jaden Peterson to give us some good innings this year too.
Look, getting Carter in is a big step up. We see a lot of the work she does, and it's easy for us to access because these young ladies, these young men are on X, and they're posting a lot of things in these workouts. So that's certainly a good one that's going to come in without a doubt.
Yeah, she's definitely a leader too. Not so much vocally; she's kind of shy, but she's up here 7 days a week doing something, whether it's throwing, whether it's lifting weights, whether it's hitting, whether it's something, and that speaks volumes. So,
We look up and down your schedule, Coach, and I see Darbone Woods, and I see Natchitoches Central, and Calvary, and Buckeye, and a return match there was Wally. It doesn't look like there's any chance where you say no, we don't want to schedule somebody. You look to get these young ladies battle tested.
Right. I believe in that a lot, and I kind of had to learn it. I didn't really know how to schedule. I didn't really know a whole lot going in, but once you have a little success, you go to these weekend tournaments, and you're not going to play the lowest teams in those tournaments. You're going to play the best they have. So I try to mix in a little during the week, and kind of like a college, I play a few midweek games, and then get ready to play an SEC schedule during the weekends.
Well, you've definitely set that up. What are some of the I didn't see the schedule, or the LHSAA doesn't have those posted on there. What's your tournament schedule look like prior to district, really?
The first tournament we go to is North Dakota's tournament.
Oh, you jumped right into it, don't you?
Second weekend in February. Yeah, Whitman usually takes care of us. But I like to be tested. I like to be tested early. It kind of humbles you and shows you where you're really at, whether it's good or bad. But it's something you can definitely work on. And then the first weekend in March is our prom, so we're not playing that weekend. Then the next weekend we're going to Sulphur's tournament. We went there last year for the first time since I've been here, and I enjoy it. And there's different teams. You get down in the Lake Charles area, you get to see some of the teams that are a little more south than our weekdays will allow us to go. So I like doing that. We go to Stanley's tournament. We haven't been there in a couple years either. And then we have our tournament. So
when is y'all's?
The 27th of March, I think.
Okay.
27th.
We're going out doing some different tournaments as well on there. We don't have any of those. We're trying to get down to that Sulphur one because it's a pretty big tournament on there. But would want to make our way out to Manny and do a game. I know that it's electric, and so here's the beauty of my side of it. I get to go around to all of these schools and experience the culture and the tailgating and man, when I come into a big games, Calvary comes to town. When I come in and I see Calvary and Manny, what am I going to expect in the atmosphere and what's going on there at Manny?
It'll be electric. There's a lot of big names over there at Calvary. So Coach Fraser's got it going on. So they bring the energy, but like I said, we don't really back down from anybody. That's just the mentality that I like to go in with, whether it be, I don't care. It doesn't really matter. Whether we get beat 100 or beat by 1, I feel like you can learn something, but you have to go in with a good mindset to get that out of them.
I absolutely see that. That's growing up in Manny. I think folks are taught that right out of the hospital when they're born on there too, because you just see that certain amount of respect the M. And you talked about that at the first of the interview on there. Away from the field and away from the competition, is there that much competition at the local stores and differences? Is everybody competing?
It's just what you do, man. You got to be the first. You got to win. It doesn't matter really what you're doing. That's just how we roll. But there's always a good program. I like to call our program a game that has to set that tone. And in 20, I don't even remember if it was 21 or 22, we went to Pineville's tournament. And we played Barb, and they had the Papillon girl and the Fontenot girl, and they were loaded, and they were nationally ranked at that time, and they beat us 1-0. But it was a program game that was like, dang, we can play with the best people there is. So I think that's really carried on. I don't think these kids right now know even that game existed, but the culture came from that game, and I think it's still here, and I think that kind of stuff carries for a long time.
And look, you talk about it, not to get off of target is all, but we had Barb that year when they played Santa Mon. Santa Mon had that good pitcher that they had.
Jackson girl.
Yeah, that's right. And it was, AJ, that's right, who went up to Boston College. That game was one of those. And to get in there and mix it up and go 1-0 with Papillon was a true testament. And it's no wonder what you guys have going on. And it looks like that same mindset is now. And so we look forward to following you throughout the season.
Yep, it's fun. We got a little mixture of a lot of stuff. I'm the only male on my coaching staff, so it's a little different this year. But so I played baseball, obviously, at the high school level. But I got my wife who played softball at Northwestern and won 3 championships at North Dakota, and then I have Coach Alford who's coached at Florine for 5 years ish. Made Sulphur a few of those years and played at Centenary, and then this year I just hired one of the girls that were on my 21 and 22 team. So I got a lot of different experience and a lot of winning in our coaching staff. So they let me be the bad guy and then be the pick me up. So
look, whatever it takes to get things meshing, you guys are certainly doing that. Real quick, let's take a look at this bracket that you guys are in that you'll move into. Arguably one of the toughest, because you've got the Kaplans and Pine Prairies and Sterlingtons and Genas and all of that in there. Is there a tougher conference or district when it comes down, or division, I guess, when it comes down to the playoffs?
There might be, but it can't be by much if there is. Especially the last 5 years, your Doles are your Sterlingtons, your Genas, your Pine Prairies, your Kinders, your Rose Pines. Everybody's
on and
there.
on.
And you say, well, y'all are one of the smaller teams in that division, or Rose Pine's one of the smaller teams in that division. It doesn't matter. It's not always fun playing the big 3A teams, but it's part of it. And like I said, that's how it is. So that's what we're going to fight for, and that's what we're going to go do. And we're not going to back down from them. But they're all doing great jobs, and it's fun to compete against those teams.
Do you purposely stay away from them just so they don't see what you have, just so there's that not, and play these bigger teams, or is it just one of those things when you schedule?
Really, there's nobody, all my division, there's nobody really close to us. I don't purposely stay away from them because I don't really care. Like by the time we play in the playoffs, we're going to know exactly what each other does anyway. In today's time, it doesn't really matter. But I have a lot of respect for those coaches, and they've helped me a lot going through. So they're doing a good job, and it's just fight till the end.
Look, I love it, and can't wait to see how this season unfolds. You guys get back to work. When do y'all start with your official practices?
Well, it's wide open these days, so we get after it a lot.
Look, there you go.
Our first scrimmage is January 29th. We go to Logan Sport, so that's what we're pushing for.
Look, anybody that says there's an off season is out of their mind. There is
They're getting left behind.
That's right. Coach, thank you so much. We appreciate you being a part of this and taking time to invite us into the family there at Manny, and look forward to getting on campus sometime here in the spring and just seeing what that culture is down at Manny.
Yes, sir. I appreciate you having me, and we can't wait to see you guys up here.
There you go. Guys, that's going to wrap this one up. Stay tuned weeknights at 7:30 when we air the Pelican Sports Report. It is our 2026 softball previews. If you've not followed the page, go over there to our Facebook page, and there is the Pelican Softball Report. Go check it out. Until next time, I am Doug Gannon. We'll see you.